Here's 7 ways to get your offer accepted in this hot market. So, despite that we're in a recession, the housing market seems to remain hot, and in some markets hotter than others. I heard of this home in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was for sale for $180,000. It got 30 offers. It sold in 3 days and $40,000 over the list price. Now, is that insane or what? So here we are in Las Vegas. Low inventory is a challenge, and we have multiple offers. Buyers waiting in line. We have the same story that everybody else has, but I'm going to show you some tips that you can use to get your offer accepted, even in this crazy market. So how are you going to make your offer stand out? Well, here's 7 things that you can do. Provide appraisal gap coverage. Increase your earnest money. Shorten the inspection period or buy as is. Pay your own closing costs. Include an escalation clause. Provide occupancy, meaning let the sellers lease back, and waive your commission. We're going to go into detail about all of these, but that's a way for you to have a competitive bid and win in this market. So number 1 was appraisal gap coverage. You might be wondering, what the heck is that? That is when you offer over list price and ensure the seller that you will pay over list price even if the home appraises for less. The way that works is, let's say you purchased a home, they wanted $100,000. You offered $110,000 and it came in at $105,000. Now you've agreed to pay $5,000 above appraised value. That's the gap. So you've agreed to come in at the $110,000 to make your offer more competitive and cover the gap. With this kind of strategy, it helps convince the seller that 1, you're serious, 2, that you're willing to pay a little higher than the next guy, and it puts fear in the deal, right? No seller wants to go into contract and 20 days later cancel because of $5,000 or whatever that number is with a low appraisal. Gives you a little bit of leverage. It helps with the seller confidence and might help your bid stand out. Number 2 was increasing the earnest money, right? If the seller's only asking for a certain amount, by you increasing that or doubling it shows you have skin in the game and that you're serious. Now, obviously, we don't want your earnest money at risk. That money will be applied to your future down payment and closing costs. However, showing a higher earnest money up front ensures that you got skin in the game and reassures the seller that you're not playing around and trying to lowball the transaction. And if you really want to get ballsy, you can make your earnest money non-refundable. But that's taking some extra risks that I don't suggest. Number 3 was shorten your inspection periods or buy as is. Obviously, if you buy the property as is, you can't ask for repairs or worry about how the property ends up after a home inspection. The other strategy is shortening that due diligence period. Let's say you originally asked for 10 days, shorten it down to 3 to 5. You make sure you have your home inspector and everybody lined up, but that will help with making your offer stand out, because if there's issues with the home inspection or you don't like the property, at least it shows the seller that they can turn around after the 5th day and put that property back on the market and you're not holding them up. The other thing is it speeds along the transaction so that you can go further and faster in the process. Number 4 was pay your own closing costs. I realize first-time home buyers, the biggest challenge that they have is lack of down payment. However, if you continue to ask for a seller every time you make an offer for closing costs, your offer will look weaker than the next guy who's not offering. So, although it's difficult and you think to yourself, oh my goodness, I have to come up with the closing costs and the down payment, maybe then your strategy is to save more money until you're ready, rather than relying on a seller paying for those things when you don't have the money to cover it. So in a hot market with bidding wars, asking for closing costs is surely going to put your offer on the bottom of the pile. Number 5 is the escalation clause. That might not be a term you're used to, especially as a first-time buyer, but in this market with competitive bids, multiple bids, it's something that you could utilize with your agent. And what that means is that it basically is giving a cap. So you're willing to pay above and beyond the highest offer by a certain amount. So the way the escalation clause works is, let's say that you put in an offer for $100,000 with an escalation clause up to $115,000. and a new bid came in at $110,000. It means that your escalation clause would be implemented, and now your new offer would be $111,000. Again, making you the highest bidder in this situation. And you didn't pay $115,000, you paid $111,000, saved yourself $4,000, and you were the highest bidder and got the house. Number 6 is provide occupancy or lease back. That might speak for itself, but if you don't know what that means that you agree to purchase the home, close on the home, but allow the seller to live there, give them a little more time to pack up their belongings and move out. Providing occupancy is pretty straightforward, right? It's allowing the seller a little more time to get their ducks in a row. They need to pack and move as well, so you're just being flexible and giving them some extra time so that they can move on to the next phase of their life without being rushed. That might make your offer stand out in this market because they may have nowhere to go. They may not have purchased a home before, which brings in another caveat to that, is that you might find that these sellers have clauses in their contracts that says everything's contingent on them finding a new property, and you have to be okay with that. Therefore, being flexible truly makes a difference, and in this case, allowing them more time might help you depending upon your price point and your time frames as well. Last but not least would be waiving your commission. Now, this might be difficult if you're not the licensed real estate agent representing yourself and you have a buyer's agent, because in a typical transaction, the seller is responsible for paying the fees to the listing agent and your buying agent. That doesn't come out of your pocket. So therefore, you may not be able to control that. What you could do though is, depending upon what that is and the relationship you have with your buying agent, is talk to them about what can we do to make this deal more attractive, giving more to the seller's agent, so that transponds into more money in the seller's pocket, which of course is the reason you're doing that. If you're representing yourself, then obviously it's a no-brainer. Why charge yourself commission to pay yourself again when you could be the highest bid without that? So I hope you enjoyed all these tips. If you use them all together, you should have the strongest bid out there, and good luck with your next offer, because it is truly a frustrating, challenging market, and I wish you the best. Hi, my name is Aundrea Beach-Greco. I'm your local mortgage expert here in Las Vegas, helping clients for the last 24 years with their credit, wealth, and finances. It's my passion to help you with the largest investment of your lifetime, and it's super important to me that we get you in the best mortgage today and in the future. And if I can be of service, please reach out. I'm happy to help. Oh, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the little bell. I post new content all the time, and I'd hate for you to miss it. Have an awesome day.